Well, well, well. If it isn't a Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles with a big ol' update. And I would say it's out of nowhere. Let's get into it. So right off the bat, we got new features. New Game Plus has been added. This feature allows you to start a new game with unit levels, item data, and more carried over from a previously completed playthrough. So that's kind of insane, right off the bat. One of my biggest gripes with Final Fantasy Tactics was you spend so much time building your party, curating your party, giving them the abilities that you want them to have. You kind of learn your party, and then you get all these cool characters. But most of the time, we're not talking about Sid, most of the time, you get these new party members, and they're not as good as the party you've trained up this whole time. You've grinded with this party, you've worked with this party this whole time. It's a hard task to replace them. So with this, you can just start the game with these characters now. And I think that gives those characters much more time to shine. Obviously, I'm not sure how the scaling is going to work. Like when you start New Game Plus and you bring your level 80 Ramza, are other characters going to be around your same level? Like, will the enemies you fight in the story, are they going to get onto your level? I feel like probably not. So you're bringing a level 80 Thunder God Sid into the slums, and the Corpse Brigade doesn't know what's coming? That would be an interesting thing to look at. I feel like just the side stuff will, like in the normal game, will scale with you, and the story stuff might just still be like extremely easy, which is kind of not great, but you can only do so much, I guess. Also, multiple Genji gear runs could happen. You sit there and you play through the game about 12 times, and you can have full Genji gear for everyone. That's crazy. You can only get Genji gear from one fight with a very certain setup. You have to steal it. So, I mean, I've played the game a few times. Not once have I gotten any Genji gear pieces, but I'm not good at the game. Next is the Zodiac compatibility function has been added. You may now check a unit Zodiac sign and compatibility from the status screen. I'm going to tell you right now, and I would go out on a limb and say 70% of people who played this remaster / remake had no idea that your Zodiac signs could affect gameplay. I knew they could, and I still didn't really know they could. So obviously you see here, Aries, Taurus, everyone has a Zodiac sign. Ramza's a Capricorn. They all have compatibility with other signs. And it does determine a lot of stuff. It's actually crazy, the min-maxing you can do. That's why when you recruit characters early on, a lot of people will just keep refreshing until they get the correct Zodiac signs they want, so you can have good compatibility with everyone, which is so insane. But if you have good compatibility, the two units involved, damage dealt, recovery, and accuracy will be modified to 125% of their original values. With bad compatibility, same thing happens, but it's modified to 75%. And then there's special compatibility. Capricorn and Cancer have a special compatibility. If these two units involved are both human, damage dealt, recovery, and accuracy will be modified to 150% of their original values. If both of the units involved are non-human, damage dealt, recovery, and accuracy will be modified to 75%. I didn't know that had to do with the humans and non-humans as well. That's insane. This is taking min-maxing to the extreme. Personally, I would never do that. if I got lucky in my playthrough with Zodiac signs, it was all coincidence. I had no idea you could go this in depth into everything. Insane. For the Final Fantasy Tactics sickos out there, just being able to go into the Zodiac compatibility screen probably just saves them from clicking a Google link, I would assume. And then for the true sickos out there that have this memorized, get help. That's all I'm saying. Get help. Ramza would be disappointed in you. How much you care about the Zodiac signs. So now moving into adjustments. This is what I expected from a patch for Final Fantasy Tactics. Just like a little adjustments here and there. Not boom, new game plus, boom, Zodiac compatibility. That's a little crazy. Either way, when selecting a tile to move to or target with an ability, you may now check the status of the unit under the selection cursor. Wait, what? Couldn't you always do that? Or did you have to do some roundabout thing and click a bunch? I don't know. Whatever. Remove all equipment has been added to the equipment and ability section of the unit status screen. Yeah, that's just a quick little button push. Nothing big. Like I said, this is what I expected from a patch. Job unlock conditions are now displayed more clearly for those currently locked via the job section of the unit status screen. Okay, that's nice. During battle, the camera angle and zoom settings are now retained for the entirety of that battle. Where were these settings when I played? I spent 35% of my time rotating the camera. New settings. The maintain auto proceed setting for cutscenes has been added. To activate it, go to the main menu's options tab, followed by settings, then gameplay, and use the main auto proceed toggle. So that is just for... Oh, I see, because during cutscenes you could do the auto, but then if it went to a different scene, you would have to re-up the auto. Now it just like continuously stays on. Okay. The ability incantations guaranteed settings has been added, which ensures that dialogue spoken when using certain abilities is always performed. Okay, so like when Agrias uses her Holy Knight abilities and she yaps, you can set that so she always yaps. I thought they yapped every time anyways. Orlando was yapping non-stop in my playthrough. So that's interesting. With the exception of specific characters, jobs, and abilities, enabling this setting guarantees that incantations will always be performed. Okay. So maybe that's for like... No, I actually don't know. That's okay. The ability cursor memory setting has been added, which retains the cursor position in the abilities section of the battle menu. To activate it, go to the main menu's options tabs. Enable this setting to retain the previous cursor position within the mid-battle ability menu. Okay, so just cursor memory, so you can mash non-stop. That'll help with the grinding, I guess. Like in little ways of instead of having to click, scroll down, click, 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 click. You can just mash now. Another thing that is like, I'm surprised that wasn't just in the game. Minor text changes have been made, certain sound effects have been adjusted, overall stability has been improved, and other minor issues have been resolved. See, this is what I expected. Every time it gets a patch, I expected, yeah, here's 4 things. Not this giant update. New languages. The enhanced version now includes text support for simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, and Korean. Wow, they added 3 new languages. That's kind of insane. The good news about this is that they got this massive update, which means it must have sold well enough that Square is like, yeah, here, have some more budget, do this, do this, do this. You know what that means? there's a chance that Square is happy with the sales of this game and the reception of this game, that they could get another game. Could we potentially get a sequel to this? That would be crazy. But maybe not that crazy, because look at the update it just got. We can hope. We can hope that there's something. Maybe something's being worked on. That would be amazing. But even without all that, obviously this game did well enough to get continued support long after release, and that's good news. Could mean really good news, but we'll see. We have no idea what the future holds. And now, with a word from the man himself, Matsuno. New Game Plus was a feature I had been requesting since the very beginning of the remaster project. With so many guest characters in the game, I felt that they did not have enough opportunities to shine during a single playthrough. Exactly! That's exactly what I was just talking about. There were so many good characters that you get that by the time you get them, you're not sitting your main team, because they're too good by then. You spend hours grinding up their jobs, grinding up their abilities. You get all these cool characters with very, very unique abilities. And by then you're just like, oh well. Tough break. You might take them in a few grinding sessions, but... Fortunately, the game surpassed 1 million copies sold shortly after launch, and has continued to perform well ever since. Thanks to that success, the development team was able to continue working on additional features and improvements even after release. There you go. That's very good news. That is very good news. That it sold, obviously, well enough that they went to keep working on it. It's still doing good. With more resources, that's such good news for the future of tactics. Although it took time to bring this feature to fruition, I am truly delighted that it has finally become a reality. Above all, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to producer Matsuzawa, director Mahiro, and the entire development team for their dedication and hard work. Yes. Yes. I would also like to thank them. Tactics is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. If not my favorite story. At least my favorite story. I just loved everything about it. I would also like to extend my deepest thanks to all the fans who have supported the game over the years. That's awesome. That is great that they, obviously, like I said, things are going well enough for this team that they got more budget to do a patch like this. That's great. Oh, and here we go, the first comment. I hope they include the PSP version's extra content too, even if it says paid DLC. Matsuno replies, please direct your requests to Square Enix directly. Matsuno's like, what are you asking me for? You think I got the power to just suddenly add Dark Knight and cuts and the War of the Lions cutscenes? Come on. Come on, help me out here. Well, yeah, and that's pretty much it. Not a super long video here, but just going over the updates. It's just good news. However you want to look at it, it's good news that the team still is getting to work on stuff for this. Whether it goes anywhere, we don't know. But it is good news. It's good news for Tactics fans. So yeah, thanks for watching. And I will see you on the next one. Have a good one.